So I had an interesting conversation with somebody just now, and it was about CPAs being the client's number one trusted advisor. And it's interesting because there's a study that was done on business owners and said, who's your number one trusted advisor? If you could pick one out of all your advisors, who would be your number one trusted advisor? And the answer is always, oh, my CPA. My CPA is my most trusted advisor. Then the second part of the question goes, when was the last time you picked up the phone and asked them for advice? And you get crickets. Nothing. Zero. And so here's the interesting part, is that it's quite true. Business owners see accountants as CPAs as their number one trusted advisor, but they don't use us enough. And that goes into a whole rabbit hole of the model as the reason why they don't use us enough. But that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to show you 3 ways to position yourself as your client's number one trusted advisor. So they'll actually use you as a trusted advisor, which is what we're after here. It's one thing to be seen as a trusted advisor. It's another thing to actually be used like a number one trusted advisor. So here's the three ways. And so the first thing is that what you need to do is constantly, step number 1, always be focused on what the client wants most. So always be looking at what is the outcome that they're looking for. And most accountants that I talk to, they're always about, well, we can save them tax here, and we can save them tax there, we can save tax. Well, it's not about taxes. It's not about just optimizing their taxes. The client's trying to optimize their life. They've got somewhere they're trying to get to. What's really important? So I had this one client, and they were really interested. They wanted to sell their business because they wanted to retire, and they wanted to move down and buy a place in Hawaii. And that was the most important thing. If I was just focused on tax savings, I would have been writing off left, right, and center all sorts of things in his business, which would have minimized the value of the company. And that would have not have gotten him to his end goal. What he wanted to do was sell the business and retire in Hawaii. So every communication and conversation I had was all about, okay, if we're going to do this, how is this going to make sure that you can sell your business at the highest price possible and get you so you can retire down in Hawaii? Always focused on that. So focusing on, it's the clients trying to optimize their life, not just their taxes. So always focusing on that. That's the first one. The second thing, and I'm just looking down here at my notes because I was sketching it out here while I was watching this beautiful day. I still get distracted by this view here. It's fantastic. And so the second way to ensure that you are always going to be the client's number one trusted advisor is do what I call a 4 planning pillars session with them. So when you onboard a new client, first thing you should be doing is a 4 planning pillars onboarding session. What does that mean? The 4 planning pillars is a model and a construct that we use in the accountant success formula, which is not just focused on the taxes, it's focused on the client's 4 pillars that holds up the roof of their house. And what the house represents is the life that they're trying to build for themselves. And there's 4 pillars that holds up that roof. And it's the business, wealth, retirement, and estate. And so what you do is you do a 4 planning pillars intake session with them to get an understanding of what is their business plan, what is their wealth plan, what is their retirement plan, what is their estate plan. And then you make sure when you're talking to them about it, and by the way, as CPAs, we don't create all these plans, but we work with the client to find out what they are. We see if they're in alignment, and very quickly, if you got a CPA training, you can find out very quickly if the business plan is out of alignment with their wealth plan. Maybe they're growing a whole bunch of wealth in the business, and it needs to be pulled out and put in a holding company because the business is going to get sold. And the same thing goes for the retirement and the estate. So these are the 4 planning pillars. Focusing on those 4 planning pillars discussions the client will see you as the trusted advisor trying to build the life that they want for themselves. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is work with their other professional advisors. If you want to be seen as the number one trusted advisor, it doesn't mean that you're going to replace their financial. It doesn't mean you're going to replace their financial advisor or their lawyer or their banker or their insurance person. No, but you need to be seen as a quarterback between those people and the client. So once you've gone through, focused on what the client wants, really what they want most out of their life, which is focusing on what they really want, not just their taxes. And then you do a 4 planning pillars conversation. So you figure out exactly if those 4 plans are making sense. In those 4 plans, you're going to need to go talk to their professional advisors. So when you go and work with their other professional advisors and you bring them into the conversation, the client is going to see you as, I need Eric. So I need Eric to be my quarterback to make sure that I'm pulling together all the pieces, all the plans are working together to get me to where I want to go. So that is, shall we call it, the 3 keys to positioning yourself as your client's number one trusted advisor. One, always basing your conversations around what the client wants most out of their life. Okay. Number two, doing a 4 planning pillars conversation and always referring back to those 4 planning pillars throughout all your tax planning and discussions with the client. And then number 3 is work with the other professional advisors to make sure that those 4 planning pillars are working to give the client the life that they deserve. And again, all these things that I'm talking about is all the coaching that I provide in the Accountant Success Formula, showing accountants how to update their business model so they can take back control of their life. There you go. I'm Eric Solbakken. Stay tuned for more success tips to come.